What's happening, YouTube? Champion 2D Rob here. Back again. It's been a while, I know. I was planning to make a video about a week ago, and then I just ended up getting like really ill. Nothing serious, just a bit of a bad cold, and it kind of put me out last weekend. So any of that free time I had was basically just me sleeping a lot and taking the necessary medications and whatnot and stuff. So it kind of messed up my plans a little bit. As for right now, like, don't worry guys, I've not been crying. Still a little bit ill. No, just my eyes irritating me, so I literally took some eye drops just before I started doing this. So my eyes are a little bit irritated, so that's why my eyes are watering. But yeah, you know what guys, man, it's good to be back. I've been meaning to get back on it. It's been a while, but it's nice to sort of come on every now and again, let you guys know what I'm doing. I'm still around. You know, I've been watching other people's stuff and trying to interact with people as much as I can, but otherwise YouTube for the most part took a little bit of a backseat for a little bit. You know, sometimes it's good to get away. You know, because I've had the last month or so, it's just been quite stressful, just life stuff, you know, getting in the way. So it's hard to sort of make content talking about games and stuff when you just sort of other more pressing things on your mind. But yeah, so do you know what? I wasn't sure what I was going to do for this video. It was going to be a pickups video, but you know, and I've got a lot of stuff to show you, like some great stuff, but I thought I'd show you some games that I actually picked up about 2 years ago and never showed in any videos. And I did say I was going to do this at one point. I was going to call this video the Lost Pickups, because this stuff was actually bought back in 2021, believe it or not. Most of it was. And actually, from most of it was from the London gaming market. So if you guys were there with me at the time, you will have seen this stuff when I bought it, and I just never got around to showing it in any video. And a couple of these items were also eBay purchases, but again, they were bought like a long time ago, and they're all retro stuff. All of it's retro, so no modern stuff in this video. I will save that for another video. This one is just going to be all retro games. Sega and Nintendo. Classic style. That's how we like it here on this channel. Keeping it old school. Champion 2D all the way. That's what we like. So, yeah, let's get right into it. I suppose we could start with the Game Boy stuff. So what I've actually got here is a bunch of Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, and then we'll sort of finish it all off with Master System. And I actually do have a Mega Drive game that I bought the other day, but I will save that for another video because I've also got some Saturn games I'd like to show you guys as well. But for now, we'll just stick with stuff that I bought a very, very long time ago and never got to show you. Now, unfortunately, I also did buy a Super Famicom game, and which I actually bought at the London Game Market with this stuff, but I've misplaced it. I don't know where I've put it. It was a long time ago. I just can't be bothered to try and find it. But yeah, it was Super Street Fighter 2. Street Fighter 2 Turbo for the Super Famicom, and glad to add that one. I really bought it just because I wanted it for the cover art. Really, quite liked it. But yeah, so anyway, got some Game Boy games. They've got some loose carts as well as some box stuff, which is really, really cool. And I suppose I will start with the one I actually got on eBay. And this is just an impulse buy. It's just been something I've wanted to pick up for a long time, and it's just sort of it's always been on my watch list, but it's never been a high priority. Just one day I just felt like buying it, and I thought I would just push the button on it, and that was Burai Fighter. And this is a shooter, a sort of space age shooter, like a flying spaceman. I'll probably put some footage in, you can see what it's all about. And I gotta be honest with you guys, I not got around to playing it. I've not got around to playing it. It just sort of got lost in the shuffle. It was actually when I was sort of pulling this stuff out to see what I was going to show you from the stuff, I realised I'd actually not gotten around to playing it. So I'm going to probably give this a go after I finish the video and see what it's saying. But it seems to be like, from what I've seen, it seems to be like a fairly decent little shooter. So yeah, I'll give that a go. Okay, and so moving on now, we're going to go with the stuff that I bought at the London Gaming Market. Now, I did buy Master System with this stuff, but you know, just to organise it, I'm just going to stick with the Game Boy stuff. So this was bought, I believe it was the summer London Gaming Market. I think it was June 2021. That was the one where I met up with Scott Sega Zombie, his Mrs. Jade, Scott Sega Saturn Lad was there, Daz the Retro Godfather was there. I'm trying to remember who else. I think Rob Gennaldino was there as well. It was a lot of fun. I had a really good time. I think that was the same one. I could be wrong, because obviously I've been to a couple of them since this event, so I guess I kind of get them mixed up. I think I also ran into Ali 16 Bits and Bobs that day as well. I could be wrong, but it was nice. It was good sort of hanging out with them. I remember we sort of hung out afterwards as well. We sort of went down to a Pizza Express and sort of had some food and had a few drinks as well. It was really nice. I do love spending time with Scott Sega Zombie, Scott Sega Saturn Lad, Rob Gennaldino's a really great guy as well. So shout out to them guys. They really do make going to these events like really good. You know, besides obviously buying games and stuff, it's just nice to meet up with YouTubers. And I've met with quite a few YouTubers at the London Gaming Market. The last one I went to, I met up with Big Game Owl. He was there. And I've also met up with Ali, 16 Bits and Bobs, as well as his cousins as well, really good guys. And it's always nice, you know. And Scott Sega Saturn Lad he's always a great guy to hang around with. You know, I've also hanging out with Pete on a retro tip as well. He's also a great guy. I mean, I've hung out with Pete quite a few times, and he's a great guy to hang around with. So it's always really nice. But enough of all that. Moving on to the pickup. So yeah, so I've got a bundle here of Game Boy games, and I guess I'm going to start with the ones that I actually bought off. I got off another YouTuber. Now, this was actually, I believe, I got it off him, and this was based off Swap Shop. So shout out to Lee and the Swap Shop. Great place. Check him out. Check that channel out. Lee, the Retro Chef. Check his channel out. He always does his Swap Shop the last Sunday of every month. And I kind of showed interest in a couple of games that good old Cine Steve he was sort of showing, and then we sort of agreed that he told me he was going to be at the London Gaming Market. So when I went there, he sort of brought the games down, and I sort of bought it off him. And he done me a really nice deal on these games as well. I mean, one of them was really what I was after, and the other game was just sort of like a little bonus that I just sort of showed him. He basically gave it to me pretty much for free. But the game that he sort of, I did buy it off him, but it was a loose cart primarily. But he did have the box for it, but the box is a bit tattered. But you know, that's fine. I didn't really care about having it complete. You know, I just wanted the loose cart. But the game, this is for the Game Boy Advance, and that is a Monster House. So even though this is based on a sort of kids cartoon, it's actually a really good game. It's a top down sort of run and gun style game. It's a bit of a gem, which is why I wanted it. It doesn't go for a lot of money, but it's just a really nice one to have. And I remember I have played this, and it was a lot of fun. So it's definitely, so it's not, I know it's very easy to dismiss a lot of these sort of kiddie games as being shovelware, but they're not all of them are, and this is actually a really good one. So I wanted to pick this up. So this is just the loose cart. So there's no manual in there, just a loose cart. And he had the box, and you know, it's just a shame to throw away the box. But yeah, just a cool one to have. So I can't remember if I bought this off him or he gave it to me for free. But he done me a stellar deal on the next one, so this is basically for free that he threw this in. But the game that I actually showed interest in, and it's in lovely condition and it is complete, and that is Kirby's Pinball Land. So I actually already had a loose cart of this, but when I saw that he showcased this at on the swap shop, I was very, very up for having this because I do love Kirby, and I do find there's something very special about getting boxed Game Boy games because you just don't see them as much. They're always, for me, it's always a little bit special when you find when you get a chance to grab a nice box complete Game Boy title. And this looks like a very fun sort of Kirby spin-off title, a pinball game, and it's in lovely condition. And he did me a really good price on this as well. Very nice price for this. I was very lucky. So thank you so much, Steve, for both those titles, mate. Awesome, really, really awesome. Okay, so moving on to what I actually picked up at the market itself, and I was very lucky that day. I believe I was an early bird, so I actually was one of the first through the door. I believe I was the 4th in line, something like that, and I did really well. I did really well at that market, and these were one of the sort of the first titles that I picked up. And I think one of the first ones, I think this was the first one I bought. No, I believe I bought this the same time I bought the Super Famicom game, Street Fighter 2 Turbo. I also bought this along with it, and this is for the Game Boy Color, and that is R-Type DX. So I've been in a bit of a mood for R-Type. Saw this, really couldn't turn it down. Yeah, so couldn't turn this down. I thought it was in a lovely condition, and it was for a really good price. I actually don't remember what I paid for it though, because like I say, it was a long time ago. But it is complete, very nice condition. Of course, I had to put it in a box protector, but you just can't go wrong with R-Type, really, you know. And yeah, really, really chuffed to get this. I love R-Type. My first shooter that I remember playing that wasn't Captain Skyhawk was on the Super Nintendo, and that was Super R-Type. That's probably the one shooter I played as a kid. I never played much shooters as a kid. I played them mostly once I got into sort of like the 16 and 32-bit era. Mostly the 32-bit era. I got into shooters in a big way, but prior to that, it was sort of very few and far between. But it's just nice to get sort of this coloured version of sort of like this is the OG, or I don't know if this is like a slightly updated version of the original R-Type on the Game Boy, or if it's just like a bit different. I'm not too sure. But speaking of which, I did actually pick up a loose copy of R-Type as well. I actually bought this towards the end of the evening, just before I was about to leave. You know, after buying a DX, I just thought to myself, you know, it would be nice if I could get a copy of the original R-Type for the Game Boy, and I picked this one up, and the sticker is still on the back. I paid a tenner for it. So yeah, chuffed to get that. And the last game comes for the Game Boy. This is for the Game Boy Advance that I did pick up at the market, and that is Yoshi's Universal Gravitation. And I've wanted this for a long time, but the prices on eBay have fluctuated on this game. It just goes all over the place. So I bought it at the market for a good price, for around the price I was expecting to pay for it on eBay. But eBay is just it's wild, and of course you got to factor in condition and stuff, and this one was in nice condition. But what's really cool about this game is that the cartridge itself actually has a sensor in it, so it's all about sort of you have to move the Game Boy, and that's how you maneuver the character on the screen. It's one of those very gimmicky style of games. But yeah, so it's just one I've wanted to have for a long time, and yeah, just very, very chuffed to have it. It's in lovely condition, and yeah, long time coming. So those were my Game Boy games. So moving on now to Master System, and most of these were bought at that same one, and one of them was bought at the London Gaming Market, but I don't believe it wasn't bought at the same time. I can't remember which market I bought this one in, but it was definitely a while ago now, and it's actually not in that good of a condition. Looking at it now, it's the cover's damaged and whatever. It's a bit dirty, bit grimy, but the manual is in nice condition, and so is the cartridge. The cartridge and manual are actually pretty clean, but the outer box, it's not in the best of conditions. It's fine. But just before I go into them, I just sort of wanted to say that for a long while, like, there was a bit of a tradition when I was going to the London gaming market. I always found myself picking up Master System games. I don't know what it was, but I just kept finding Master System games I was after. So it was just sort of a tradition for like a long time. I was just picking up Master System games for the most part at this market. I believe the last one I went to, I actually didn't buy anything, except for maybe a couple of custom manuals. But the one before that, I just sort of mostly bought Saturn games. And actually, I believe that was the one I bought this game. So it's a great lead-in, actually, for this game. I believe I did buy this one that same time. This is a game that I've just been very curious to try out. I have the Mega Drive game. The Mega Drive game I did own as a kid, and I loved it. It's one of my favourite games on the Mega Drive. But I've been eager to try out the Master System version, because the Mega Drive version of this game is its own version, whereas the Master System game is a port of the arcade game. So if that doesn't give you a clue, the game is Shadow Dancer, The Secret of Shinobi. And like I say, it's not in the cover is not in the best of condition. It's a bit grubby. It also says here, part of pack, not to be returned separately. So this must have been sold as part of a bundle. Quite interesting. But yeah, I just wanted to get this version of the game. I know it's not as good as the Mega Drive version, I don't think. But like I say, I love that Mega Drive version of the game. So it was just sort of nice to get this one, which is more of a direct interpretation of the arcade original. So yeah, cool to have, and of course it is complete. These two were eBay. So these were the ones that I bought at the same time as those Game Boy games. So Sega Zombie, if you're watching, you've probably seen these. I know Scott Sega's Saturn Lad, you will have seen them as well, because I would have shown you on the day. But I bought 4 Master System games, and just to sort of clue you in on what I'm sort of doing with Master System, I'm trying to sort of get the games that either I played as a kid, so the ones that I sort of experienced as a kid, I'm trying to get them in the collection, and stuff that just generally interests me. So these ones here, except for maybe one, yeah, so no, so 2 of these, no, actually only one of these I experienced as a kid and wanted to own, and the other 3 are just games I've always wanted to try and never played before. So the one game that actually, I'll start with, where should I start? I'm all over the place here, guys. I'll start with the one that I actually played as a kid. So yeah, so I played this one as a kid. It's an action side scroller based on a famous movie, and yeah, I remember playing this. I actually remember thinking this game was not that good, but I still wanted to own it, and I saw it for a decent-ish price, and that is Bram Stoker's Dracula, and the price sticker is still on there. I paid £30 for it, and it is complete. Everything, the manual and the cartridge are nice and clean. You know, there's no damage on the outer case. Everything's fine. You know, probably do a little wipe. I thought I wiped it down already. Apparently not. But yeah, I have some memories of playing this game. I thought it was okay, but it's no Master of Darkness. But it's definitely a fun one, I think, and you know, it's just a sort of cool one to have on the Master System. So yeah, and the next one I have here, and again, I was actually very chuffed to get this. This is actually one that I've been meaning to try out. Again, I do own this game on the Mega Drive, and I know the Master System game is similar but plays a little bit differently, and I'm such a big fan of this IP, so that's kind of why I wanted to own this version as well. I did play this on an emulator and quite enjoyed it, so I thought I would pick it up for the Master System as well. And that is Predator 2, and I paid £10 for it, and it is very nice condition as well. It's lovely that it's the manual is like crisp cartridge, which is kind of why I bought this, because like I actually had a lot of luck at this one. Like most of the, even if the box was a little bit rough, like the innards were like crispy, just a lovely condition. And so yeah, very chuffed to get this one. Like I'm a huge fan of the Predator, and I love Predator 2. I love that film. So just nice to get the Master System version of that as well. And another game I got here, and again this is one I owned on the Mega Drive. I owned the Mega Drive version as a kid, and I was just sort of curious to get this one. I was watching Time Warp James. Is it Time Warp James's World of Tap? Something like that. You know, Time Warp James. And he was talking about this game when he was sharing his Master System collection and stuff. And he just sort of got me thinking about this game. So I saw it at the market and jumped at the chance of picking it up. And that game is Spider-Man. So again, I do believe, yeah, it's in lovely condition. It even comes with the poster. So it's in, get the poster as well with it. Very nice condition. And yeah, so I had this game as a kid. I still have it. I still have my original copy. And I paid £13 for it. And yeah, so I had the Mega Drive version, and I really enjoyed that game. I know a lot of people don't really think much of it, but I actually found myself really enjoying that game. It's very simple. It's a very early Mega Drive title, but I enjoyed it, and I'm just sort of curious to see the differences between that one and this version. So yeah, just a very cool one to have. I'm a big comic book head. You know, I think the reason why I also wanted to pick this up was because I was trying to get sort of the superhero games on the Master System, because just prior to going to the market, I actually bought the Flash on the Master System, which funnily enough I actually did see at the market as well. It was in lovely condition, but I'd already bought it on eBay I think about a week or so prior, and I actually told Scott Sega Zombie about it, and then he went and picked it up and he showed it in one of his videos. But yeah, just a very cool one to have. So yeah, nice one. And the final game I picked up at the market, and that was Afterburner. Now, I wasn't planning to buy this. It just sort of caught my eye. It was going for a very good price, I believe. And it was in lovely condition. I know it was in lovely condition, yeah. Lovely condition. The manual is lovely. I keep saying lovely. It was in nice, crisp condition, the manual. Again, the cartridge very clean. So it was hard to pass up. I think I paid, it was about 15 quid, maybe 13 quid, something like that. It wasn't that expensive. So yeah, I just thought I'd pick it up. I love Afterburner 2 on the Saturn. Really is a very good port. So yeah, I just thought I would pick this one up. This was more of an impulse buy, but just a very cool one to have. So those were basically what I picked up at the London market. But I also picked up a couple of Master System games, and I believe I bought these maybe just prior to that event on eBay. Both bought at completely separate times. So just very quickly here, I did manage to pick up Kung Fu Kid. And sorry, oh, my nose is running. So Kung Fu Kid, I played this as a kid. I remember playing this one. It's a sort of, you sort of scroll along. It's a beat 'em up, but it's not like a side-scrolling beat 'em up. You're just on one plane. And I do remember that you were able to sort of jump really high and stuff and do a lot of kicks. And it was quite a fun game. I remember it very well. So I thought I'd pick it up. It's a nice nick, but the case could probably be... Sorry, guys. I may have to edit this out, or I might not. I'll just leave it raw like this. Yeah, so yeah, I bought it. It was a nice nick, pretty cheap game. I don't really remember what I paid for it, but it was one I played as a kid, so just nice to get this one. Oh, my eyes is really irritating me, so sorry guys. I'm just gonna keep it real. I'm not. Do you know what? I'm not even gonna reshoot this or nothing. I'm gonna record this, put it out there. Who cares? Anyway, and the next game I also picked up at eBay. Oh. The next game I picked up at eBay, and this was just one I was just curious to get. I wanted to nab it before the price on it started to creep up even more, and that is a Renegade. And this is a side-scrolling beat 'em up, and this is a port of the arcade game. Just a very cool one to have, and again, it is complete. Yeah, there's some stainage on the manual, but aside from that, it's a pretty nice nick overall. So yeah, chuffed to get that as well. Alright, so I'm going to leave you there, guys, because, like, I don't know, my throat just started clogging up, my eyes are getting really watery, my nose is running, I'm just all over the place right now, so, oh. Yeah, no, that's how we do it here. I haven't fully recovered, guys, but I just wanted to put a video out. Let you guys go. Let you guys know I'm still around. So I will catch you in the next one, guys. Hopefully, feeling much better. So take care, guys, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.